Hello, RF Generation family, and welcome to something a bit different today. For those of you guys who don't know, I am the great and powerful Neo Magic Warrior. And amongst video games, other than video games, I have a plethora of other hobbies, and one of those, as you can kind of see by all of the mess on my desk, is model building. I specifically do a lot of model building with Gundams, as I put this guy in here. Let me try and get some better light on him. There we go. So, Bandai model kits, stuff like that. I also do, like painting of minis. So this is a Titanite Demon from the Dark Souls board game that I'm working on. He's kind of in the in-progress pile on the desk here. But the reason that I'm doing a video today, and not doing a brief look at a video game, is that we're going to do a brief look at this guy. This is the 2/5 scale Bandai model kit for the Sony Playstation. And I looked at this and I went, this is immediately a video. Everybody needs to see this. And we're going to build along. For those of you guys who are also curious, as I reach over here, there's a Saturn too. But honest answer, the Saturn, I don't have as much that I can talk about with a Saturn. I didn't have one growing up. So we're going to talk about kind of my experiences with the PlayStation, talk through building a model kit. Also, what you're listening to is This Is Game Chops on Spotify. So thank you to DJ Cutman, Ben Briggs, and the like. I picked up this model kit from my local gaming store, Level Up Entertainment in Mays Landing, New Jersey. And they are super awesome. And you should all check them out, shoplevelup.com. I should probably pull a trash can closer. But alright, so for those of you guys who have never done a model kit like this is a snap together kit. We're going to do a little bit more probably. But basically, you need a knife, and that's the extent of it. So what you get in the pack are some pre-sealed little sprues. This is actually a pretty small kit. It's not too bad. And then we've got our instruction manual. And while most of it is in Japanese, we should be fine. I've built plenty of these. They've also been adding more and more English to these things as time goes on. So I should probably talk about kind of the tools that we're going to use today. So I've got an X-Acto knife. I've got a fancy one because I really like the nice, like, thick handle. But any X-Acto knife will work. I also recommend, if you're going to get into this kind of a hobby, plenty of blades. We have two styles of nippers. I have these Citadel nippers that I use. They were from Games Workshop. They're pretty kind of rough and tumble. And I use these for kind of the nice rough cuts. And then I have these Gundam Planet nippers. They're actually only sharpened on one side to give a particularly clean cut. Some other things, but I mean, you can get away with a knife and a cheap pair of clippers from the hardware store. I actually have, for my 3D printer over here, I've got a set. Let me reach over. Like, I've just got a cheap, like, dollar store kind of pair of nippers. So anything will really work. I just build enough of these that it warrants getting ridiculous things. The other thing that you'll probably see on screen are some sanding sticks. I don't have to explain what sandpaper is to you guys. This is just sandpaper glued to a stick. That way it's not flopping around everywhere. So step one, I'm going to pull all of these sprues out of the plastic. I'm going to take these stickers and set them aside. And I've got this extra bench over here for that. And so what you can see, I'm going to try and zoom in here as close as I can. So you can see this is runner A as I point to it. Sorry, looking at cameras and things. Right there, runner A. And then you can see each of the different pieces. Like, this is piece number 5. If I try and get this close enough to a camera. Yeah, so all you're doing is you're looking at the instructions, and it'll tell us kind of what numbers we're looking for. And it's a snap together kit. All of this stuff is snapped together. There is no glues. You technically don't even need tools for it. If you can pop these pieces out with your hands, or A cheap pair of nail clippers is how I started out. You can actually get pretty decent results. And these kits look great on their own. I can immediately see that I'm going to be doing some extra stuff to this one, but that's also just because I'm insane. And you'll kind of see that as we go through. So you guys may only see kind of the beginnings of this kit now that I'm looking at it. But so this is really only 2 big runners and a couple of small pieces. So let's get started here. It wants us to, step 1, as I follow over here, it wants us to go ahead and put the lid together. But while I'm doing this, let me tell you about my history with the Sony Playstation. So the Sony Playstation is actually the second newest home console system that I ever got. So my first video game system was the NES. It was my mother's at the time, and my brother brought it upstairs from the basement because it was in a box, because they had bought it for her at about launch and said was like, I'm not really into this. It was kind of neat at the time, but nothing crazy. And then it got kind of boxed up and thrown in the basement with a bunch of stuff, actually. By what was in that box that I can remember, she actually bought it towards the wider release and not completely at the beginning, because there was a Zelda Gold cart in there. That was actually the second game that I had played. The first one that I can remember is Excite Bike. So Excite Bike is technically my first video game. And that was pretty neat. I was pretty small at the time. Let me find these pieces here. Little hinges. Also, I should explain what I'm doing. I'm just kind of cutting these pieces out, scraping off the little excesses on them, and then just popping them in according to what the instructions say. But anyway, getting back to it, second system on that list was a Sega Genesis. And I got a Model 2 Genesis. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 was boxed in on it, and The Lion King. And that was my video games for a long, long time, other than some new games for each of those systems. Let me look at this camera here. I know it's hard to see what I'm doing. I gotta start doing stuff a little bit closer up. Let's see if I can't. Yeah. So this was piece 4. So we're just gonna snap this into here. So now you can kind of see there's a hinge on this side. I'll try and tilt it. Yeah, there's a hinge on this side now, and not on this one. That's the next one that we gotta do. But anyway, yeah, so I had a Sega Genesis. Turn that down a tiny bit. For quite a long time, actually. That was basically what I had to work with. My friends had some N64s and stuff like that going on, and being young, you didn't get to go to too many people's houses with too much craziness going on. And then eventually, for Christmas, I got the DualShock PlayStation, which I think I still have my original one somewhere. I've beat it to heck over the years. But I have that PlayStation, and that PlayStation came with that Christmas was Eggs of Steel, Jet Moto, WCW NWO, Thunder. I'm trying to remember what else was in that pile. Crash Bandicoot Warped, I think, was in that pile. So, a lot of stuff. A lot of good stuff. Alright, so we need B2. We need the main body here. I'm actually really impressed by the model kit itself here. It's a lot of good detailing. It looks like this is also just modeling kind of the later PlayStation based on the port layouts. But I like it's really nice and clean, the edges that they've got on here. Let me see if I can't get this camera any closer. I probably can, but it'll ruin everything. So I don't want to mess with it too much. But anyway, yeah, so that's my beginnings of really heavy video games was in that vicinity. Because it's about the time that I started getting my own money through chores and allowances and things like that. And so, yeah, I was pretty much kind of at everybody's mercy for Sega Genesis games. I'd get some money for some holidays and things like that, but that's about it. I kind of just had to hope that people would buy me games and steal them from my older brother when he wasn't looking. Because he also had a Genesis at that time, but was back and forth from the military, so I could only steal stuff when he was home. But anywho, I don't particularly like that spot. We're going to fix that. But yeah, so that's the story of how I got my PlayStation. And boy did I play the heck out of that system. But also it turns out I played the heck out of everything that wasn't what everybody else had been playing with a PlayStation. Which is really intriguing. So like when you think of PlayStation, I'm sure a lot of you guys think of Final Fantasy VII and Chrono Cross. I'm trying to think of what other really, really big things on there. Crash, Spyro. I mentioned I had Crash, but that's about it for the mainstream stuff. I still have a good chunk of my original PlayStation library. I mean, sports games, I barely had any of those because I'm not a sports person. So that wasn't a thing. And in retrospect, an N64 probably would have been a significantly better system for me to grow up with. But a neighbor had that, so I'm glad that my parents got me what they did. I'm going to go ahead and snap this power button into place here. Or no, that one's the eject. That's the eject button. No, is it? No, that one's... Yeah, that one's eject on the right. It's been a while since I've looked at a PlayStation. But... yeah, no, I mean, PlayStation's easily my favorite system of that era, despite not really liking the games that it's known for. I'm not a big RPG guy, with a few exceptions. Speaking of which, I'll get into that. Some of my PlayStation favorites. We'll start off with the RPG that I really like. I am a huge fan of Front Mission 3. It's one of the few RPGs that I've sat down and just kind of barreled through. There's so much good in that game, and it's actually really impressive that I can sit through something like that, but a Final Fantasy will put me to sleep. Even a modern one, really. I'm not fans of really any of those. That's pretty impressive. I've got to switch over here to D3 for a piece. A nice clear piece. I really liked... Crash Warped is a fantastic game, but I don't think you need me to tell you about Crash Warped. That seems a little odd. What do we got here? Is that how you want this? Yes. Okay. Yeah, I don't think you need me to tell you how good Crash Warped is. And around the same time, I know I was playing a lot of Game Boy, so I did a lot of that as well. Let's see. Ah, there we go. Okay, good. Now we go disc holder lid. We're gonna put this. We're gonna pop the lid. How do you want it? Aha, that's how you want this. Beautiful. So there we go. We've got a PlayStation lid now. It's pretty impressive looking. Some of this plastic doesn't seem to be the most flat, so I may have to go back and fix that later. But we've got a lid, and now we're gonna put in assemble while holding down the disc holder. All right. The bar for the top. Okay. But, yeah, no, it's PlayStation. What other good PlayStation? Jet Moto, I mentioned, is a fantastic racing game if you've never played it. I very much like the original Jet Moto, and then 2 and 3, I don't think hold up. I think 1, and I don't think it's nostalgia. I think that game is just, it has a feel to it, and I think 2 and 3 kind of feel slippery, and 1 feels just the right amount of stiff that I want for that kind of game. Plus, some of the tracks on it are fantastic. I mean, Nightmare is awesome. For anybody who hasn't played Jet Moto, it's this giant racetrack in a sky. And it's really, really impressive looking at. So, alright, there we go. There's our lid. Our lid is functioning and limited now. We can't pull it all the way back, so that's pretty cool. I hope some of this comes out on camera at least. Let's see what we got here. We're going to the bottom now. What other good? I am a big wrestling game fan, especially when I was at that age. I was real big into the WWF at the time, and so I think I own every wrestling game for the PlayStation, and could probably do an entire episode off of that. Also, let me know if you want me to do that episode, because boy, have I put in a ton of hours into every single one of those wrestling games. If I had to pick a favorite, God, as much as it's so limited, my favorite WCW one would have to be WCW versus the World. Yeah, remember WCW was a thing, guys? That's a whole time. Oh, this is disappointing. I gotta do something about this later. Sorry, I just got to the circuit boards and realized that they are just solid green. And I'm gonna have to go back into this later on and fix it. I don't think you're not gonna be able to see it from the outside, so I'm not gonna do it today. But it will bother me that my microchips are not blacked and drawn on, and I'm sure it probably bothers you guys too, but just know I'm going back to fix it. I just want this video to not be hours long of us watching paint dry. But no, WCW versus the World is probably the best placed, what is it, Sony, or, oh jeez, I can't even remember now. It's probably the best, which way does this go? Aha, like that. WCW wrestling game. There we go. That fits now. I know there's a bunch of limited things that happen. A14 and A3. Yeah, that game's very limited. Oh, I'm gonna have to paint ports and stuff too. Okay. We're gonna fix this. But this is actually good news. This is the kit for the original PlayStation. You can see the AV ports modeled onto it as opposed to just the breakout, so go Bandai. Sorry, where was I? My brain jumping. Oh, wrestling. Yeah, WCW. Great wrestling game. Super limited, but it feels very much like the N64 wrestling games, which are arguably much better in almost every kind of aspect. The other one on the WWF side, I mean, the original WWF wrestling games are really rough to come back to, so I highly recommend not doing that, unless you really want to kind of bash your head against the walls. The old Acclaim ones, they got better as time went on. Warzone's terrible. Warzone is absolutely abysmal. And then somebody kind of knocked it off. I just cut pegs off of this. That's not great. I gotta fix that. Cool. I thought those were supposed to come off. Awesome. So I'll have to glue you in place. That was a mistake. That's what I get for talking while I'm building. But it's okay. I also was supposed to put this piece in first. So we will fix a couple of things all at once here. I've got needle nose, or what is it? Tweezers. For just such an emergency when I do something stupid. Like this. There we go. That board's out. This guy gets slotted in here, like so. And this guy's gonna get glued on because I'm an idiot, is the answer. Yes. So let me grab some super glue. But anyway, while I'm doing things here, while I'm about to make a mess. Super glue also is an optional building tool. I highly recommend it because you will make a mistake. It happens. It's fine. Get over it. And don't be afraid of super glue. Super glue is your friend. There we go. Now just line up those nubs to where they were. Perfect. Hopefully that guy stays. Good. He's behaving. But yeah, no, the best, like, WWF wrestling game is probably... It's SmackDown 2. The THQ games just got better as THQ kept making them. The only real downside on that is load time, and golly gee, is there a load time in between every single action you do. So if anybody could fix that, that'd be great. So it wants me to assemble this part on first. It's warning at me not to cut these other pieces off like I just did with that other thing. Okay, that's fine. Shielding. And the disc tray. Got it. Okay, that's where we're at. Let me cap those back off so I don't stab myself. Okay, rule number 1 of model building, don't stab yourself. It will spoil your day. Other games that I was real big into, I really like Gran Turismo. I only had Gran Turismo 1 as a kid, but Gran Turismo 2 is probably my favorite now. I really like going back to it. I think it has all of the nostalgia that the first game has with just so many upgrades. I haven't played through it in quite a while, and I really should do it again. Also, fighting games were big. So the Tekken series, I love Tekken. Soul Blade, I had. What other exciting PlayStation games can I just kind of shout out there? For fighting games, I played a lot of. As much as I didn't play Final Fantasy, I played a lot of Ehrgeiz. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's people know it as that fighting game that has Final Fantasy characters in it, and I didn't know they were Final Fantasy characters. I just thought they were people. So that was interesting to not have a frame of reference for that, but also really enjoy not only that game, but that if you ever go and pick up a copy of Ehrgeiz, or if you have it sitting on the shelf, I highly recommend that you jump in, and there's quest mode on that disc. So Ehrgeiz is the fighting game part of that game. There's a bunch of mini games that they threw on there. The main game, a memory card management tool, and this quest mode. And this quest mode, it's a roguelike. It's an old roguelike using two characters that are hidden in the main game. Like, it's real interesting how... Is this C1? Am I looking at the wrong piece? I'm looking at the wrong piece. That's what happened there. I cut the wrong piece out of there. That's fine. I gotta cut the power brick out of here. And I like how it's in the brown because it's in brown in the actual PlayStation. At least my model. But anyway, yeah, no, it's a fantastically dumb little roguelike. At a time where no one was doing something like that. Not only was nobody putting just a full second game on a disc, And when I say full game, I mean it's a long play. There's an easy mode where you can switch back and forth between the characters and go up into a town. It's really fun. And then there's the hard mode where it's like, all right, grab one of the two characters and just go. Just enjoy yourself here. Which direction does this go? I think it goes like this. Yes. There we go. Come on. Snap in there. Beautiful, beautiful. There we go. And we've got a couple of other tiny little pieces to snap in. And to not cut the bottom parts off of. that was embarrassing to do on stream. Well, not stream, but on recording. But we fixed it. We're alive. See? That port's on there. Everything's good. We're fine. Yeah, now that the Ehrgeist is... I remember picking that up. I still don't have a full, complete copy of that. I think I just have disc and manual. What are some other weirdly underrated PlayStation games? I should have looked at my PlayStation shelf before I started this recording. I mean, I could always pause it, but that's another argument. A11, there we go. So I like let's see what else is on that list of games that's really good on the PlayStation that I'm probably missing your favorite. It's happening. Like, just get mad at me now. On my list of things that I still have to play, I picked up a copy of Vanguard Bandits. A while ago, I had borrowed it from a friend, started playing it, really liked it, and then that friend needed it back because he was moving. So, I did not get to finish Vanguard Bandits like I would have wanted. I was right. That is the eject button on the right-hand side. I'm dumb. I was overhyping myself. Let's see. It wants us to apply some stickers to B7s. Where are they? Where are you, B7? Aha, there we go. So because of what we're putting on here, it wants us to put the memory card stickers on. So you can see these things come with sticker sheets. Let me try and get this into focus and not all shiny. And try and... there we go. Maybe that'll focus. There we go. Yeah. I don't usually build model kits on stream. This is new and different for me too. So, we're all learning. Which side do I want this on? I want this on the textured side. Got it. But now it's, yeah, Vanguard Bandits is basically a kind of if anime met Front Mission, even though Front Mission's basically an anime too. But it's significantly more anime and fantasy. And you would think that with liking Front Mission and with liking Vanguard Bandits that I would like Final Fantasy Tactics. And I just can't get into it. I don't know what it is about Square's RPGs, but they kind of just bore me to tears sometimes. I'm not interested in what's happening. And so it's really funny to see that I really like the PlayStation as much as I do here. But just basically hate on kind of like a flagship series. I'd rather play a Ridge Racer. I'd rather play Spyro as much as I didn't have Spyro. I'm trying to think of what other major games that I put like a lot of time into. I actually picked up that Front Mission. So back in the day, you got these things called game magazines, and they'd be sent to your house. And I think it was Game Informer was the one that came with my GameStop membership at the time. And so I had Game Informer. and they had a thing on Front Mission 3, a whole strategy guide, and so I read over it over and over and over again and was like, oh, this game's so cool, this game's awesome, and eventually found it in the wild somewhere, picked it up, grabbed it, and turns out it was just as awesome. The other two games that I found in that manner, oddly enough, is Strikers 1945. That game, the shmup, is fantastic. And then the Legacy of Kain series, they did a Soul Reaver kind of episode, and I went, oh, that's so cool, or magazine, sorry. As I drink some water to not dry myself out completely. And that Soul Reaver was another game that I went and picked up and really, really enjoyed. I very much like Soul Reaver, but I have not gotten very far and really need to. I picked up, oddly enough, I had Blood Omen first and just couldn't get into it, and then I eventually got Soul Reaver and was like, oh, this is so cool! And I get about halfway in those games and then just put them down. And so I've played half of Soul Reaver, half of Blood Omen, half of Soul Reaver 2, half of Blood Omen 2, and then I think 3/4 of Defiance over my time on this spinning globe. And it's a very... No, memory card pieces, come on. These memory card doors don't want to stay in here, so I gotta pop this on like so. Haha! There we go. Are you guys gonna get stuck in there like that? I bet. Oh, that's fun. Hold on, I gotta trim a piece, it seems, after I pull this off. Come on. Give me that back. They're getting caught on these bottom nubs here. So I just gotta file that away just a little bit more than I would want to. What else PlayStation-y can I talk? Oh, controllers. So, PlayStation, I had for my Sega Genesis, and I still stand by this, I have a third-party Sega Genesis controller as my favorite, and it's got no name on it, and I can't find another one without really digging for another one, and I haven't done it. There we go, there's the front. And let's mount that in yonder. Beautiful. There we go, this is looking like a PlayStation already. As I check out the camera. Next you get the little... As I try and... They're flipping back because of the angle. Let me see if I can get them to stay. Nope, but not really. But you'll have to take my word for it. What was I saying? I can't... I'm blanking now. Darn. Oh, that's the controller CPU. There we go. Oh, geez, now I can't remember what I said. I'm completely losing it. You're losing them. But, no, PlayStation, I'm trying to think of what other crazy things I had. Oh, Soul Reaver we were on. Yeah, I played most of the Soul Reaver stuff. But none of it to completion, so I couldn't tell you how any of it really goes. I can just tell you they were fun and interesting, and that I think I will eventually go back to Soul Reaver and play it on a Dreamcast, because it's a much better experience on there. Which one? Oh, you just sit that way. Aha. Okay. Ah, because you spin, that's why. Armored Core. Let's go to Armored Core. I played a lot of Armored Core. As it turns out, everything that FromSoft makes is pretty good. Because I'm a big Dark Souls fan, as evidenced by the Titanite Demon here. But Armored Core was my first FromSoft love. Because I like robot. Maybe that's why I like those other ones. I'm sensing a theme here. Robots. Giant robots. That's what I liked. I didn't care about the RPG. I wanted the robots. So, Final Fantasy needs more robots, is what I'm saying. Except for Final Fantasy IV, because I don't particularly want to have to sit through that. Just putting it out there. I know there's robots, but I don't care. And then, what are you? Oh, I didn't put a piece in here, because I'm an idiot. So I gotta pop that back off. Gently. 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 Ugh. This is always the most terrifying part. You're like really stuck on there. I need a thing. I have to go through my kit here. The tools. And get. So one of my other passions, weirdly enough, is I play guitar. And so guitar picks make excellent pry tools for things like this, for plastics. So you can kind of have multi-part things. There we go. All right, we did that. We didn't break anything. I'm usually not this bad. I'm just not paying as much attention as I normally would. Simply because I'm trying to remember the entire history of the Sony Playstation. Oh, jeez, I'm just completely blanking out on things. And here I thought I wouldn't have anything to talk about with the Saturn. But no, I wouldn't have anything to talk about with Saturn, honestly. Saturn is a system that I have only recently really gotten. What else did I really get into? Yeah, because I didn't sports game. We already went over that. I am not a sports person in any way, shape, or form, and this lens is really giving me some trouble here. It does not want to fit. So first I forgot it, and then now it doesn't want to fit. And of course, it's this nice little tiny clear piece. There we go. Hopefully that'll work. You son of a gun. This thing is murder to put in. So, Bandai, if you're listening, this particular piece sucks. Just wanna put that out there for everybody to hear. Come on, get in there. You can do this. You are a big boy. Get in. Am I putting this in backwards? Is that why? Are you like keyed? There we go. Okay, we're in. And then now I can put this back on top of here. Sorry. Brain farts averted. We're good. Let me think of what else for PlayStation. I'm gonna quick cheat here. I'm gonna pull up a list of best PlayStation games. Just to quickly jog memory. Ah, there we go. Okay, memory jogged. So Metal Gear Solid. Metal Gear Solid was a really interesting game for me. So I had picked it up significantly later than release. I didn't know a whole ton about what I was getting into. And boy, was that an experience, having kind of no idea what I was in for. Oh, that's kind of cute. Okay, sorry. We've got the PlayStation, and then the little eject lid does pop it up. It's not very good, because there's no spring in here. But it does eject, so that's pretty rad. But Metal Gear. Metal Gear Solid, I had not played Metal Gear on the PlayStation. The MSX was not a thing that I knew. So basically, this was my first jump into this, and I picked it up because Sam's Club, which is now an affiliate of Walmart, but Sam's Club, ours used to carry PlayStation games, and I still look at that rack in the back of my mind right now, because there were just stacks of Team Buddies, and I could have made a lot of money if I had those now. I think it was Team Buddies that's worth a bunch of money. But there was something on those racks that I'm like, oh, I could have, like, made bank if I picked all that stuff up now. There we go. So we've got a PlayStation. It needs some stickers, but we're there. So onto a controller. So we've got that circuit board that we cut accidentally, so let's work with that. Yeah, Metal Gear. That was crazy. It's actually the first game. I was probably way too young to play that. I can think back on it now. I remember just being aggravated. It's the first game that I was like, ooh, like, I'm not in a great mood, and all I want to do is go home and play Metal Gear. So I was like, ooh, that's not good. But no, I really enjoy that. What else do we got over here? Parappa the Rapper. So I've got a Parappa the Rapper story. I worked in a retro video game store for a bit when I was a little older, and Parappa the Rapper was the game that we had in an old PlayStation on demo for like 3 months, and all of us went insane. And now everybody who I talk to from that store, none of us can play Parappa the Rapper again. We are indefinitely scarred. Is the best way to put it. I'll move that over there. Because that demo is just ingrained in our heads. And if I hear "Gotta Believe" one more time. What else is on there? We've got Gran Turismo, Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Symphony of the Night is a great game that I don't associate with the PlayStation in my head, because I didn't pick it up until I had an Xbox. When it was on the Xbox 360. And boy did I enjoy it. That is fantastic, and probably one of the best Metroidvanias, if not the best. It's definitely the best AAA Metroidvania. I'm not gonna put that out there. I think it's significantly better than Super Metroid. It's just good. Which in my head puts it above Super Metroid, and I know a lot of you guys are going to gasp now, but I do not like Super Metroid. Just something about how it feels is not okay to me. I don't like Super Nintendo, mostly. So, there's that. There's a bias there. But Super Metroid is great. Or not Super Metroid is great. Symphony of the Night is great. Finding all the different abilities and going in different forms, and then the whole reverse castle, and it's an adventure. It is absolutely an adventure. Let me scroll some more over here so I can just keep looking at things to jog my brain as I talk. Tony Hawk. Alright, so I don't know how many of you guys had it, but I bought the Jam Pack demo disc, which had the Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 and Spider-Man demos on it. And Legend of Dragoons on that disc too. It's a pretty popular demo disc. It was like sold at retail. I think it was like $1 or something like that when you bought it. It's like some obscenely low number, but it was for official PlayStation Underground magazine. I'm gonna feed this wire in yonder. Cool. There we go. And so we're done all of this so far. So flip these pages over. There we go. So here's where we're at. We're on color pages now, guys. Let's see, once the circuit board. Oh yeah, sorry. So official PlayStation Underground magazine, and that demo disc, and I played the heck out of those demos. The Tony Hawk demo, the Spider-Man demo, and the Legend of Dragoon demo. And as much as I played the Legend of Dragoon demo over and over and over again, I've bought that game, and boy, can I not get very far in that game without getting bored. Seems to be a pattern. Resident Evil is a game series, as I look at this list here. Resident Evil is a game series that a friend of mine was very, very big into, and I would kind of go over his house every once in a blue moon and watch him play some, but I was and am, to this day, as a matter of fact, an absolute complete scaredy cat, and so I've only tried to play Resident Evil 1 once or twice, and really haven't gotten into it. No offense meant to the Resident Evil staff, but I'm just a scared little baby. Same for Silent Hill. Silent Hill falls in that exact pile. I recognize these games are fantastic, and that they did so much for the really video games, because you had Mario and Sonic jumping around everywhere, and nobody thought that, you know, zombies were going to be as big as they are. And here we have The Walking Dead and stuff like that now. So it's kind of egg on anybody's face who didn't think that that was going to be big. But those were big. They were significantly big. Click over here. There's a couple of things on here that I'm like, I don't know. Oh, Siphon Filter. So Siphon Filter is really interesting, I think, to talk about at this point in time. Because I think Siphon Filter had so much going for it. And that game is so interesting to look at, and it's visually very appealing for a PlayStation game. And then somebody decided that they wanted to standardize the controls of the third-person shooter. And Siphon Filter is now terrible to play. I've tried to go back and play it, and it's just so awkward. I mean, it takes its cues from so many good places, and really makes kind of a compelling story, or as compelling as any of those kinds of games can kind of be. And the problem really is that boy, does it not play great anymore. At the time, it was really interesting, but now that we have standards... Oh! I jogged my memory, apparently, as to what I was trying to talk about earlier. With third-party controllers. So I mentioned that my favorite Sega Genesis controller is a third-party controller. I'm happy to say that is not the case for the PlayStation. The PlayStation is the first controller that I really got acquainted with, that I really liked. But even though I was given the DualShock PlayStation as a kid, this one, the one without the analog sticks, like the basic bare-bones PlayStation controller, is far and away my favorite. I feel... And I've tried... It's not the membranes, because I thought at one point it was like, oh, my original controller probably felt as good as this cheapo one that I found that basically somebody probably got in a box and then immediately upgraded to analog sticks. No, I've upgraded everything that I could and moved parts from it, and it's just not that. It just feels better, and I don't know why. But I went through a period of PlayStation controllers a mile wide, and I found some of them the other day, and they are not great. They're super not great, as a matter of fact. I had one of them that was all sorts of rubber. Yeah, rubberized coatings on game controllers. Can we talk about that for just a second? And when I say can we talk about it, I mean, can we please stop doing it? They're really nice when you first grab that controller. It's kind of neat. It's an interesting thing. But a couple years down the road, and they are gross. So one of my most gross rubberized controller stories is a PlayStation controller, and it is the Dragon Quest Slime controller. It's one of the few controllers that I'm like missing that I would really want as far as a third-party controller. And the only reason I want it is because it's silly and stupid looking. But the problem is that the rubberized coating has degraded from all of those, and now they are gross and disgusting to touch. So if you have one and it's like in a drawer somewhere, go find it and touch it. Chances are it's gross. And it's a shame because it's a cute little controller. And I would love to have it again. But, oh boy, is it gross. So, yeah, we just made a PlayStation controller for anybody who wasn't watching and just kind of listening around. And it plugs in to the system and just kind of like, it's in there. That's in. So, we're ready to start playing our mini PlayStation here. Let's go ahead and I'm going to cut out our memory card because we have to be able to save. I mean, come on. Also, the memory card system. Memory cards are a really interesting idea, and I'm glad that it's something that went on as long as it did and then stopped immediately when it did. As soon as people went, oh, we can just put a hard drive in this system, and it's great. But, you know, saving to carts stunk. And I was a big Game Shark and cheats kid. I don't know about you guys, but I was big into cheats. And so it was neat to be able to duplicate and move files and things like that from my PlayStation memory cards over and have one memory card that's like, oh, this is me playing legitimately, and then this one's me being a little turd and cheating everywhere. And so I've got some memories of that. What else we got on ye olde list here as I zoop over? Oh, there's a big one. So one of my favorite PlayStation games, and I can't believe that I forgot it. I'm actually really mad that I forgot it and haven't talked up to it at this point, is Mega Man Legends 1. Mega Man Legends, for those of you who don't know, is somebody said, let's make a Mega Man game in 3D. And let's also try and make it good. And so, you're Mega Man, and you're basically dungeon crawling through all sorts of weird dungeons, and there's a whole like family. It's where Tronbon is from. So if you've seen her from like the Marvel vs. Capcom series, that's you can thank the exciting people at oh god, Capcom. Sorry. It's really hard to build a model kit, and especially like stickers. Stickers are always the worst. Because if you put them on wrong, they just don't look right. But I mean, I gotta be perfectly honest, like that. Let me try and get this in focus. And let me try and get some light on it. It's a nice shiny back sticker, and then I can flip it over. And you can see there's a PlayStation logo that won't focus correctly on there, but it's there. You see it. But yeah, no, it's here. Let me just put this this memory card right in here. Oh yeah, there we go. Look at that. We are ready to go. It even slots in. It even like kind of sticks in there a little bit. That's a nice touch. Nice touch, Sony. What else do we got? The disc. So we were giving a clear disc. This is the one part about this particular kit that I'm actually really upset about. And so you have a clear disc, and you're given for stickers this black backing sticker, but also a black front sticker. For those of you who don't know, Sony's PlayStation games are black backed, and so they're really nice. You can see scratches on them quite nicely for like buying secondhand. And I don't know if I know why that ever happened that way, but I know that it did, and I know that they did that. I don't know if it was like a disc reading thing or something like that. I actually don't know, so we're gonna not speculate. I'm sure there's a reason. But the Saturn kit that's down there on the floor now has multiple stickers, and so in your Saturn you can put Virtual Fighter. Hold on, it's on the side. Let me reach down. So you can put, that is Knights, Virtual Fighters, or Sakura Wars 2. You can put on your Saturn disc and put it in your Saturn, and I think that's really cool. And I mean, Sony owns games. Like, just come on, make stickers. So later on, I have to make a sticker and put it on the back, or put it over top of one of these. That way my Sony PlayStation can have a game in it. Because that's just some BS right there. Come on. There we go. We're on. There we go. We've got our black bottomed disc. And then I'll put the Sony disc on top. Chances are this is just some pirated disc. It's a blank disc. We burn a disc and we put it in this PlayStation, guys. It happened. We've pirated on this classic PlayStation. And there we go. Let me see if I can get it a good angle, and you can see it. It'll spin in there. It's pretty cool. I'm quite happy with it. Liquid again. Let's see, what else do we got? Now we are on to just stickers. We're just on to stickers. I'm going to take that disc out for now. And it's going to be difficult. There we go. Cool. Alright. So we are on sticker. That's a sticker on the top? Man, that's inlaid. I'm really upset about that. They did all this detail work to cut out the PlayStation logo, and they just gave us a sticker for it. So I might have to go back and paint it later. We'll see. But let's see if I can't line that up as best I can with the inlay. That's pretty good. I'm okay with that. But yeah, no, Mega Man Legends is just basically a Mega Man dungeon crawler, and it's pretty cool. It's RPG elements all over the place, and different items and weapons and things like that you can get like in a normal Mega Man game, but they all they work. Roll makes you all sorts of things. It's super cute. The second one is a game that I'm in the middle of, but I keep doing this thing where I stop playing it because I'm terrible at finishing games. But I'm sure I'm not the only one on that list. I did just finish a game, so I'm proud of myself. I just finished Hollow Knight after significant amounts of cheating. So I guess some things don't change even with the advent of, you know, me being better at games. Come on. Get off of there, sticker. Other PlayStation games to talk about. We haven't gotten to Bushido Blade, which I missed on my fighting game rant there. Bushido Blade, for those of you, again, a game of one-hit death, basically, in like a samurai fighting game, and it's really neat. It's one of the few games. I had a friend who had Bushido Blade, and as far as I know, I'm the only person who used the PlayStation Link function, where you could link two PlayStations up and play the same game in a point-of-view mode. So I got a significant amount of that played, and it was pretty cool. But I am the only person I know who has ever used that function. And it's not very easy to do now. Well, I mean, it's actually probably easier to do now, really. I mean, PlayStations are not expensive. Bushido Blade, I think, is more expensive than the PlayStation that you would need to buy. So do that if you're really bored one afternoon and want something to do. What else do we got over there? Twisted Metal. Twisted Metal is a game that I was aware of. It was neat. I played it once or twice, but it just never stuck, and I never wanted it. And I think still to this day, I think the only Twisted Metal I own for my PlayStation is Small Brawl, and it's bad. So don't go buy Twisted Metal Small Brawl. But I think that the Twisted Metal games have not aged well simply because game controls have gotten better over the years. And so I think that kind of really hinders what you can do with some of these old games from a fun standpoint. Jeez, this is one heck of a sticker. Uh-oh, I just botched that end. And we have fixed it. Okay, beautiful, beautiful. We've got now our jacks on the back are labeled, if I can get this close enough. And if it'll focus. You can kind of see it. I'm sorry that the camera focus is terrible. It's on auto, and it's just a pain in the neck. So now we've got a controller to sticker. Go on ahead and see what else we've got. There we go. Super Puzzle Fighter Turbo is a game that me and some friends have lost a significant amount of time to. And when I say significant, I certainly mean a significant amount of time. It's actually quite embarrassing, to say the least, of how much Super Puzzle Fighter we played. I ran an Extra Life event for some friends one year. It was the first one that I had ran, or had run, sorry. Excuse my terrible grammar. And so we had ran, I think, maybe, I was running an Extra Life event for some friends. And while they were all competing in their games, they were trying to compete and complete, it was Mega Man X, Battletoads, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for the NES. And while they were doing that, we ran kind of a second stream and just basically played Puzzle Fighter the entire time. Frankly, it was quite impressive. And I wish that I still had some of that recording somewhere. I don't think I do. I think it's lost to time. Because I don't think anybody ever backed it up. Because we were idiots about it at the time. But there's our PlayStation controller. Trying to move things for this camera is difficult. So you can see quite nicely. But yeah, that is... Well, let me put my stuff back in here. So we've got a PlayStation. We've got our disc that is difficult to get set in there. We've got our memory card. And our controller. And so that was the 2/5 PlayStation, guys. This is actually pretty rad. Let me find something for scale. Here's a cup of toothpicks. Where are these other two for? I think I missed 2 stickers somewhere along the way. Oh, that's where I missed them. Okay. Sorry, we're not quite done. I missed 2 stickers. Now we're gonna finish this off completely. But yeah, this has been fun. I've enjoyed this. Make sure to let me know if you enjoyed this, or if I'm just terrible at kind of presenting things while I'm on a stream here. So you can let me know whether or not you want me to save the Saturn Kit. And I can do the Saturn Kit on here. I should really do, what's it called? Some of the repair work that I do on game systems on stream too. Or on a recording. But there, we finished up the back port labeling. Everything's good. Everything's done. And yeah, here's our Sony PlayStation. Let me clear this mess off and take a good look at it. I really enjoyed this build. This was really nice. There's a bunch of painting that I have to do. Simply because I know it's there. Like, even these feet. These feet are supposed to be rubber. I think mine are rubber. So they'd be black. I have to look at my PlayStation. I have to pull my PlayStation out to make sure that I'm not crazy on that one. But maybe it's mine. Maybe it's different versions. But yeah. Oh, that's kind of cool. So the PlayStation button clicks in, and then you can kind of click it back with the reset. I don't think you're actually supposed to do that. I think I just messed that up. Let me pull this apart now and fix it, because I'm awful. Nope, you're probably not supposed to do that. And now my disc is loose in here. What a mess. Uh-oh. I popped out my light piece. Everything's gone wrong. I've broken everything. We're gonna fix this. But yeah, this has been me building a 2/5 scale PlayStation model. So if you liked and enjoyed this, please leave comments on the RF Generation page where this is uploaded, and I will answer any questions if anybody has any. I'm going to assume everybody has a bajillion questions, like why would you ever do this with your life? So yeah, that's a PlayStation, and I will save a Saturn Kit to see if anybody wants to see it built. But that's about it, guys. I hope you've enjoyed watching along with me as I built this thing. But until next time, I will catch you later. Until the next brief look at